도려냈나 덕분에 남은 거 없이 텅 비어 초라한 날 발가벗겨진 지나간 날들이 조롱해 날 약간의 원망과 이 슬픔이 미련의 끈을 놓지 못해 이 주위를 서성이며 기적을 바라는 맘 끝에다 끝이 나는 냉정한 네 말 순간 모든 게 무너지며 끝을 걷는다
누구 마음대로 헤어지는데 근데 넌 너가 말했잖아 Baby love is love
클래시 로얄.
속보입니다. 대흥행을 이끌고 있는 프로리그 2016 통합결승전 장소가 공개되지 않은 점에 대해 많은 사람들의 이목이 집중되고 있습니다.
A little bit of a shaky champion pool, has played okay. Looks like SKT are skipping a ban.
Maybe they lost a ban?
Okay, wait, it's just now showing up on our screen. That's super strange.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk through the bans, as you guys will see them
No,
pop
they
up.
did. No.
Wait, no, they did
lose
skip
the
a ban.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Okay, I saw it pop up and I was like, super
Okay.
strange. So let's go over the bans. We've got Azir, Ezreal, and Anivia banned out from MVP. Now this is setting up Ian for a Vladimir, which SKT will ban away along with a Nidalee. So you might see a delay in the ban screen updating on screen. That's just because we did have that ban skipperino a little bit earlier on. Looks like they didn't use the opportunity to ban on purpose, so no
I didn't know
penalties.
that's allowed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could always hit that Heimerdinger ban real fast.
In NALCS actually one time with Gravity, I wanted to do a no ban, but apparently it wasn't allowed.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's some rule set change. I mean, that was a long time ago. That was over a year ago.
Okay, well, things,
But, yeah, anyways.
times day is a changing.
Right.
Well, big thing to talk about, the Shen first pick for MVP. It has been ADD's best champion along with Trundle. So we might see a Trundle against that just to limit the tanky stats. But wow, that is a super sick bang art.
Here's the thing that I thought that was going on. I felt like they banned the Anivia because then it forces a Vladimir ban from SKT because Faker can no longer play the pocket pick Anivia to counter the Vladimir, which then I thought gives Ian his Varus. They first picked their Shen, so ADD gets his best champion on the meta, and then it's handed back over to SKT. They pick a very no theme, not necessarily no theme, but they pick very, very standard safe picks inside of the Sivir and the Gragas. Goes back over to MVP, and they pick Rek'Sai and Ashe.
Yeah.
So there's still the Varus available.
I like the Amumu hover against the Beyond, just saying, hey, this is your champion, we can hover it too. Rek'Sai was banned against MVP both games of their previous series, so it's a little bit interesting to see Beyond being given that champion when it could have just as easily been banned out.
They could have even picked it away from him.
Instead of Gragas too,
Yeah.
so kind of interesting. We'll see how that fits into the team comps there. Ashe, another champion that has been banned a lot. In fact, I think the second most popular champion as far as pick and, or AD carry as far as pick and bans go in LCK this season next to Sivir. Sivir, of course, first picked there by SKT. But let's check out the last two picks here for MVP. Still waiting to see what Ian's going to pick. And with a Gangplank lock-in, that's super interesting because it's probably going to be for Duke up top lane, not necessarily for Faker. Speaking of Faker champions, LeBlanc has been something he has been dominating, doing those hashtag things Faker does. So no surprise to see that maybe being taken away from him in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm a little curious to see what Faker is actually going to use in the mid lane. There is the chance that the Gangplank is put into mid and Faker would be on Gangplank, but I don't think that's going to be the case because he has a relatively nice matchup against Shen in the top lane, primarily being able to remove the taunt by pressing W.
And being able to follow Shen with an equally global ult. So.
Yep. He can easily follow Shen. You can't cancel Shen's ultimate, but you know that's gonna be fine. So okay, the Varus pick is coming in for MVP Ian, and that's what I thought was going to happen. So now how is Faker
He
going
just picks
to
that
respond
LeBlanc
to
and
the
goes in,
Varus?
man. That's kind of what we've seen from Faker more recently, willing to be that super hard carry. You can see the Varus win rate actually super crazy. I'd love to see the damage per second average for Varus because it has to be incredibly high. Although we've definitely seen hit or miss games, and one of the reasons MVP might have been a little bit more hesitant to pick the Varus is that Varus was the champion that Ian was playing versus SKT when SKT had a perfect game 18-0 against them. So you probably want to maybe think twice about that situation. But this is a very supportive team comp for their double AD carries. But is he going to do it? It's a lock-in on the Malzahar.
Yep, and this is problematic for MVP because Faker was able to last pick the Malzahar. He's going to be absolutely insane. Against this MVP team composition, they have ways that they can try to handle him. Also, note that Faker's running Ghost. So this is one of the options. Generally, if you play Malzahar in mid lane, you have the option to run Ghost, you have the option to run Teleport. There is almost no other viable second summoner spell. But as this game goes on and on, MVP's scaling is actually going to lose out to SK Telecom.
Really interesting to see the lack of a ban there from SKT voluntarily. Have to take a look at the pick and ban phase maybe a little bit later to see exactly how that did affect it. We're finally starting to see Malzahar in a mid lane fashion. We've seen Trace play it a couple of times top lane, and that it's met with mixed results, but it's definitely a very strong pick. 5-second suppression. It seems pretty good to me. So Baker's going to be busting it out in the mid lane versus Ian in a matchup where Ian didn't fare so well last time around. Of course, MVP as a team have a lot to prove. Having taken out big teams like KT, Rocks, Tigers, like these are teams that MVP is doing super well against. But SKT, these guys are back on track, looking very dominant, have a lot to prove here tonight. You can see starting lineups for both teams there on your screen. Not subbing in Bengi just yet for the first game, but it's going to be extremely exciting to see Faker's Malzahar, Duke on Gangplank, and a whole lot of action coming up in Game 1. bit of a difference in the cheers here today. SKT packing the house. I don't see any. Okay, I see like 3 empty seats in the entire Nexon Arena, which is where we are at. So if you are in the Gangnam area of Seoul, South Korea, get yourself down here to the Nexon Arena and check out some of the best League of Legends in the nation. The best, I dare to say. So let's talk about the way that these teams are starting things out. We're talking about maybe a few of the win conditions here. We haven't seen too many Malzahar. So what's SKT looking to do with that pick, LS?
Malzahar in the early stages, he's like a Lulu meets Victor. I don't know how to describe it. Until he hits 3 items, he's not really going to be a damage source. He's going to be basically a support utility mid laner via the ultimate and via the objective control. The other thing is, Ian taking cleanse, I think, is a little bit weird. We saw there's actually been 3 instances now of pro players taking smite against Malzahar in mid lane because it just shuts down his ability to do anything with his ultimate. He can't chain his ultimate because the primary damage source is inside of the W. So if you cast the W and the E on you, if you respond quick enough and smite the minion, he doesn't deal damage. The cleanse doesn't do anything for Ian in mid lane. And it doesn't do anything, I think, versus almost any of the champions. It's virtually useless. So I don't know why that's not a barrier or a heal or
It is a heal.
a teleport. Or what do you mean? Oh, it said cleanse in
Loading screen?
yeah.
Super strange.
Why is that? What?
Yeah, it's a heal in game, man.
It
I
said
saw the
cleanse.
cleanse. I saw the cleanse too. Don't
It
worry.
said cleanse in loading screen.
All right, well, we're going to move on with what it actually is, and that is the summoner heal. So, like you said, that does actually make sense. The smite is actually what I want to see. Smite versus Malzahar is super
Wait, is the pause
broken.
because of this, maybe?
Is it? Oh, I think he had cleanse in the loading screen. Looks like the pause is actually from SKT, who's saying that they have a little bit of delay on their inputs. So
Faker has 9 ping, not 8.
oh
so,
man,
know,
unplayable.
Yeah.
I actually, from my apartment, I have 11 ping.
I
Basically
can't play.
broken.
Yeah.
No way to play there. I flashed and it happened almost immediately instead of actually immediately.
Yeah. That's
Unacceptable,
problematic.
man.
That is indeed problematic. So anyways, the problem with these team compositions is the Malzahar passive, when it reaches late game, it's going to be possible for Ian to penetrate that relatively consistently, but against everything else, if Ian isn't there to break that Malzahar shield, they're not going to have any sort of CC to handle him. The Voidlings are going to be absolutely enormous late game. Also, they have 20-minute Baron options because of Malzahar. Malzahar opens up so many objective control-based things against dragons, Elder Dragon, Baron, that other champions don't offer. At least not champions that currently exist in the meta, because you can just take no damage from those, neutral objectives.
No. You take 90% reduced damage.
No. The Voidling's tanking the damage from Baron or Dragon. Your team doesn't take any damage.
What if it kills the Voidlings?
It doesn't. As long as Malzahar has, I think, 29% CDR, they almost permanently maintain. So, Morel and Omicron, first item, depending on runes and masteries, it's pretty good.
Certainly sounds pretty good. Looks like we are having the players talking about if the game is actually working. And it looks like we are going to go back into the game as the players have agreed that, yes, everything is working correctly. And oh no, we're starting to see Max. He's busting out the KIYF strat. They're going to come into the jungle. They find Duke. They find Blank. And Duke is not in a great spot here. Is he going to flash? No, he's going to give up first blood to Maha.
Okay, now that's actually really painful. Duke, wait. Who got the small minion?
I'm not sure exactly who did get the small minion.
There's
I was
no
watching.
CS on Ash or Bard.
Nobody got the small minion.
No one got it. I'm
It
sorry.
actually,
I thought that died.
dropped line of sight in the bush. So
Okay.
let's back things up a little bit. I hope we get a replay here. Wolf is actually going to go on the other side, but Beyond has red buff. And that means that he is super high damage.
Oh, no.
ADD's going to come in here. Another red buff. His proc. There's the flash in. ADD's got the damage. Ian coming up. Where's that first blood? It's already been taken. There's the second blood. Beyond there to take him down, and What's that start up in the top lane for ADD, LS?
Well, that is that's a very good start for Shen.
We'll talk
And,
about it after we
yeah.
get through this graph a little bit. Literally, SKT crushes MVP. So I feel like you look at some of those red bars, they are slightly large and in charge there. 18.4 KDA to 0.5. And yeah, now we can actually talk about the start there for ADD going for maximum sustain in his opening build.
Faker, I don't know what the E on Tavares was there. That seems like a mistake.
Gotta deal that damage, man.
Yeah, well, it doesn't deal any damage because Malzahar can't actually kill anyone pre-6 anyway. So a little bit bizarre to see Faker making uncharacteristic plays. And he's also going to drop his E management again.
Wow, and he's like missing CS under turret,
He's missing
too.
a lot of CS, and he's dropping his E. This isn't something that you really want to see.
We did get it to bounce onto E in there.
He got
so
it to bounce onto Varus, but the problem is Malzahar cannot use E on champion targets early on because it's just not mana efficient and he doesn't deal enough damage. And so this is what I was talking about him being a utility mid laner until he reaches 3 items. Once he reaches the Morellonomicon, the Rylai's, and the Leandries, then he melts you. But until he reaches that, he's virtually a support.
ADD actually just almost died. He, I forget which team was it that died to double to turrets. It was NALCS.
Renegades versus Dignitas.
Well, that was, yeah, but that was off of a die. No, that was actually just a suicide.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
Renegades died to Herald, and Dignitas died to Turret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super crazy times we live in. So, in case you guys were wondering, the initial start, that Magical Journey first start from Max, actually super insane. I think it was originated in the LVPES LOL Honor League. It's a Spanish league. A team named KIYF brought that out, crushed with it, and it was like, okay, you get the cheesy start to the game. And it's not just about that start, it's what you do with it. So MVP have actually not only taken that victory, but they blew 2 flashes early on and were able to pick up a second blood as well.
And
so
they gave the blue to Ian here, and the problem is Faker's
First
not
blue,
getting
right?
any escorts from Blink in the mid lane, and Malzahar is a champion that in some matchups he can need an escort. So with blue being handed over to Ian this early on, and this being a teleportless Malzahar, he's in a really rough spot because he needs to sustain until he has that lost chapter and maybe another amplifying zone without falling too far behind. But it already looks like Faker is poised to probably fall down 20 CS at 7.5 minutes.
And keep in mind, the CS is something also to talk about here. SK Telecom T1 have the highest CS, average CS difference at 15 minutes, which is insane. On average, SK Telecom in their roles are up 22 CS in 15 minutes, and MVP had the lowest CS at 15 minutes, which is -23. So when you look at how both of these teams kill minions, SK Telecom are miles ahead. There should be a 40 to 45 CS difference between these two teams in 15 minutes. And granted, we're only at 6 minutes, but you can already see that starting to maybe have a few struggles, mostly in that mid lane matchup.
Well, this doesn't make any sense because with the blue buff being on Ian and Beyond's clear path basically being able to be superior to Blanks and virtually parallel, plus with
Beyond's
how
almost
gimped
doubling him up.
Faker was, that was just dragon timing. So it's really unfortunate not to see.
Oh my god. It's a Tiamat first, by the way, from Beyond. He's going for that crushing route where he just walks into the enemy jungle. He's like, look, I actually have tons of damage. You have 0 combat stats from your items, so sorry about that.
Yep. And Beyond already a level over Blank. So he's going to have that ultimate available to him, and we can see that Duke is freezing the lane up and top. So, okay, now that Faker has hit level 6, there's a little bit more threat on the board, and it's also going to be easier for him to begin shoving the lane now that he has some AP stats. A little bit interesting that he chose to get Boots Tier 1. Primarily just because of how this laning phase is played out. Also, Ian, you notice, going for the Ionian boots, so he's going to have more access to his summoner spells in the cooldown.
And you can see the reason right there that Faker's picking Malzahar into this range, or into this matchup, one of many, of course, is that you're basically invulnerable from taking poke damage because you have your passive up, which reduces damage by an insane amount. So if you have that passive up and you get poked, you just don't take damage from piercing arrows. So great way to mitigate that and continue shoving the wave in. Now that, like you said, he's got that lost chapter, and he is able to keep that wave shove going on.
Yep. And he only ended up falling down 11 CS at 7.5 minutes. I thought
Beyond is waiting
20.
just outside of word vision, and so Bang & Wolf won't see him coming in here. It's a great angle, and here comes Max and Beyond. Maha's gonna come in here. He's only level 5, so no Enchanted Crystal Arrow here, but a big engage there. Max actually ignited up there. Bang's gonna flash in onto him. Max, no way, man, you can't get away. And Blank is there to secure the kill for SKT.
Yeah, that was a little greedy by Max there. He was waiting for basically the best angle that he could go for, but in doing so, he greeted a little too hard, and so he ended up getting punished for it. And now it looks like Faker is going to get handed off the blue, but let's take a look at the replay really quick. So you can see Max comes in here, and he holds his Cosmic Binding so long, to the point where he doesn't even really get it the way that he wanted to. And so because of that, Bang is able to deal a ton of damage, and then Blank ends up cleaning it up as he took the magical journey. So.
Also, kind of interesting to see the angle on that magical journey. He actually went straight down the lane, directly into enemy territory, instead of taking it the other direction, trying to get to safety in the river. Not sure exactly the decision-making process there. Max still makes it happen in a 1v1 or a 1-4-1. And enables that play to come out there, and continuing to get Beyond a little bit further ahead. That's the second kill of this game for Maha, so he's in a great spot too.
Yep. So if we look at the lane manipulation going on right now, you'll notice that Duke is in a pretty advantageous position relative to ADD, and he also has the call. So that's almost going to negate the kill advantage that Shen was able to be a part of in the early stages of the game.
Beyond's getting a little bit caught out here. Now maybe a Cosmic Binding it will catch on to Blank, and that's going to be a steal. Oh, swing and a miss on that Ash arrow, but sending a message if nothing else.
And the reason that you don't want to overextend right there is it's really easy for Faker to flash the wall and then just lock someone down.
But what if they have a Quicksilver Sash, LS?
That's Malzahar doesn't care.
Well, it also doesn't remove the suppression anymore. So, ADD, sorry man, you are not going to get out of here alive. It's Duke with his second kill of the game.
First
for
kill.
SKT.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nice save.
It's his first kill. And he does have that sheen for extra damage, definitely helped out there. Faker on the roam in the bottom half of the map to move completely undetected down to the bottom.
Faker just randomly roaming around. Now he's able to do this because at this point, before Ian recalls and basically gets the Monomune and starts to get AD items, he can't keep up with Faker's ability to shove with the Voidlings, and it's pretty good for him right now because he's able to get some free roam in, he's able to check out Beyond's red side jungle, get some timers, but now when Ian returns to the lane, it's going to be a different story because now actually Faker can't keep up with Ian's ability to shove the lane, and if he casts some Voidlings, he ends up giving Ian free gold.
Very, very true. Now Mountain Drake is the first dragon of the game. It's 11 minutes and will be started by Blank, but the committal here is a little bit interesting.
Yeah, here's that thing where they're not going to take damage. Or they'll take virtually no damage as long as they do this right.
Okay,
yeah, okay, here we go.
Voidlings taking all that dragon damage. Of course, unlucky Mountain Drake. He's going to have to deal with a little bit of a party there. Nice try on the piercing arrow, Ian. Oh no, he's actually going to get the Shen ult to counter this out there. A lot of damage reduction, a lot of shields, and Ian will actually stay alive there. Bang in the backline is going to be beset by Beyond, and Max actually there to take the kill. MVP have a definite possibility to turn this match around. Lots of Voidlings chasing here. That's a lot of damage from Faker. Look at those Voidlings. Oh my gosh. So much damage, but it's not going to be enough to pick up a kill.
So this is what I mean. Malzahar early on, he doesn't have the damage yet. When this reaches the later stages of those games, those Voidlings can't be ignored, and Malzahar's silence, it's up too often, it's too long of a duration, and it just it begins to provide way too much CC.
Oh my god, Duke almost died with the piercing arrow.
MVP need to continue to accelerate because the longer this game goes, they don't have an answer to Duke. They don't have an answer to Faker.
Ian's piercing arrows have looked really on point so far, but like you said, the scaling will shift as this game continues. It's a nice start for MVP. We'll see how well they can finish. We take another look at this play.
And his Voidling wasn't out, so Faker actually botched the combo. A little uncharacteristic there, of him. But so because of that, the Voidlings are delayed and they're not out when they should have been out. So Ian has a lot more HP than he should have had for the duration of this entire extended fight. They end up getting repelled backwards, but it's not the end of the world. But SKT comes out pretty far ahead because they did capture that Mountain Drake, and they're only they're a little under 1K gold behind now. And that's a big problem considering the massive advantage that MVP had at the very beginning of the game. Not even 2.5 minutes in, I think they were up 1.5K gold.
Yeah, and we're coming into opposite world, which happens at 15 minutes, where SKT are the team that traditionally have a huge gold and CS advantage, and now looking like they will be down just a little bit. All right. Nice cosmic binding there, Max. But he will help Beyond and Maha secure the Grom steal. Beyond controlling the enemy jungle as he has for most of this game. Does wisely disengage as the Wolf Spirit gets smote away. Yeah, it's Wolf Spirit and Wolf's Spirit in the same game. I wonder if there's some I was gonna say kindred relationship, but
I just want to point out that Beyond is about to 3-level blank in professional play, even with the changes to experience. So that's not something you want to have happen.
Well, changes to experience are based on average level. So the average level of his team, yeah, definitely kind of down there. Ian and Beyond, highest levels for theirs, and Beyond is just crushing this. Actually really impressive to watch. And that's actually something I was looking at for, you know, the statistic, maybe a matchup to watch for this game. And then I looked at their previous series, and Blank just dominated. It wasn't even close. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe this 700 MVP point Beyond is, you know, having struggles against SKT. Well, this is what we've been expecting from Beyond. This is the Beyond we know and love, where he is so incredibly strong and abusive to enemy junglers when he does get ahead, like we saw from that first or second blood.
Right, and SK Telecom actually, I think at their winners interview last time, talked about how they thought the match was going to be a lot harder because of Beyond specifically. All right, so we have a Shen ultimate coming in.
Shen coming in, no taunt there with a nice body block. An Asher hits onto Wolf, is immediately going to get out of there. ADD will escape through a magical journey. Blank trying to come in with the catch, a miss on that Verisol, but poke damage coming in. Oh my gosh, Ian with the flash, it's not good enough, but a nice Bartle to stop Faker, doesn't stop him in time. Ian does go down, a Shadow Dash away for ADD, trying to escape here. Blank with a miss there on the body slam, but I'm not sure if he's gonna make this one out alive. A knock up there onto Duke, ADD does dodge. but it does look like it will be traded back again once